Oh my God, what's
Oh
happening?
gosh.
What in the world? What's going on, man?
The doors of the Love Church are now open. Dear world, you name it, we cover it from the world of singles to the behind the scenes of the greatest movie ever. The doors of the Love Church are now open.
What are we doing?
The doors of the Love Church are now open. Dear world, you name it, we cover it from the world of singles to the behind the scenes of the greatest movie ever filmed, called Marriage. We dig into everything from dating 101. Why won't they commit? It's complicated. I can't do it if it's the three of us. They're a good person, but I'm not attracted to them in that way. 2, they really didn't disclose who they were before I said I do. How do I do this if they can't keep a job? The bills are paid, but the bedroom is suffering. Did I marry you or did I marry your family because we only can take care of us? Let's open up our marriage. Why do I have to buy into your beard gang illusion? You could have told me you were down low and we could have remained friends and not married. And last but not least, did you marry me or your pastor? Have we gotten your attention yet? If so, tune in to Unique Perspectives Love Talk Radio, Thursday at 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, if you want to hear more of today's real issues in the world of love. The doors of the Love Church are now open.
All right. Good evening and greetings to everybody, and welcome to Unique Perspectives Love Talk Radio. I'm your host, Charles Dixon, and I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Adam Ford. How are you, sir?
Good, man. How y'all doing? What's going on, fam? Doing good for Thursday, right?
You know, can you all excuse the temporary disruption happening outside? You know when this is what occurs, Adam, when the lawn people are supposed to come early in the day,
Right.
And here they come in the evening. Being ghetto. Anyway, all right. I don't making a mess. This is my time. Don't come messing up my time. But anyway,
Right.
All right, sir. So, how is everything holding up with the sir?
Everything is good, man. It's coming on to the end of the week or whatever. Like, glad about it and everything. Happy. Thankfully the weather's starting to break just a little bit. I think we're supposed to be in the 60s come the weekend and maybe next week or whatever like that. So we'll see what happens. But otherwise, everything is good.
Yeah, it's been a bit like cyclone-ish weather out this way. It's been a lot of like heavy winds and blowing over stuff and crazy stuff. But it seems to have subsided a little bit. So hopefully that's getting done.
Yeah. I heard.
All right. So today we are talking about the retention of love. It's basically saying I can catch them, but how do I hold on to them? Most of us, we can attract all sorts of things. Every time we go outside, here come this, that, or the other. And when the ironic thing about it is there's a ton of people in our circles, friends, family, whomever, who may find themselves single, and you may hear their conversations. And one of the famous things is always, oh, I ain't never single. I can have blah, blah, blah in a minute, or I can do this, that, and the other. And so we have all the confidence in the world about getting someone, but we don't have the same confidence as to keeping them. And that's where I think the problem we have is. It's like the whole, unless the name of the game is to catch and throw back into the water. If that's you just those kind of fishermen. There are some fishermen that want to go out just for the hunt just for catching fish, and then when they catch it, that was fun. Back in the water you go, right? But if you are indeed trying to hold on to it and keep it, then we have to ask ourselves, what am I not doing? Or maybe what am I doing too much of that's not allowing me to retain what I catch in my hands?
No, you're right. Because I think a lot of times when I think for some of us, it's all about the pursuit of that person.
Mm-hmm.
And in terms of us chasing them down, how do we get them? How do we capture them? I mean, to put it in those terms, but we don't often think about what comes after the capture, what comes after the pursuit, after you have pursued this particular person, and after you've gotten them. Now, what's next? What's happening now? Where are we going? What direction are we headed in? Again, it's all about the whole dating thing, but then we think about what does it take to continue to engage the interest of this person in a way that continues to make the relationship or the potential relationship something that is valuable, something that is exciting and inviting. And so, again, we get caught up in the pursuit of the person, but we don't think about after the person in terms of, okay, how do I continue to maintain the relationship that I have with them?
Yeah. Wow. And that can be a challenge, it depends. I think one of the big reasons that many of us don't retain what we catch is I think we don't consider the thoughts and the feelings of who we caught. We only look at it from the fisherman's perspective. I caught it, it's mine, right? I caught the fish, I went through the trouble to catch it, it's mine. It's not going nowhere. And you gotta always say whenever there's two, you have to go out of your way to consider how the other person feels, whether you think they may be doing too much or not. You got to see how they feel, be considerate of that, and go from there.
Yeah. No, you're right. And like I was saying before the show started, and I think this is something we should really dig into, is the fact that often, for example, when we're in relationship with somebody and we do that whole proposal thing and then we buy the ring and we're engaged now.
Mm-hmm.
We're engaged now, and we're on our way to getting married. Then we get married. And often, at the beginning of the marriage, beginning of the relationship, things are good. You know what I'm saying? We're both interested in each other. We're both talking to each other. We're both, having a conversation in terms of, keeping each other interested. But then as you go on, as the years continue to go on, you get a little lazy.
Yeah.
You get a little, lax. You know what I'm saying? You kind of chill. Like I like to say, we push the autopilot button once we get to that point. And you know what the autopilot does? The autopilot just keeps you on an even, steady keel. But the reality is that you can't really have real growth and maturity and development in your relationship if the autopilot is on. Yeah. You have to re-engage the person that you engage with at first. And often a lot of us don't do that. We become real passive in our relationship and we're not as active as we should be. And so that inactivity introduces a staleness to the relationship, almost a stagnancy in the relationship, to the point where we're no longer engaged to that person like we once was before we got married. We've gotten lackadaisical. We've gotten lazy. We don't dress to impress them anymore. We don't even date them ananymore. We don't go out. There is no excitement in this relationship. There is no excitement that's happening between the two of us. And so now we're kind of like, oh, boring.
You even got comfortable. Like that's one of the. Here's the sad thing. You go into, like, we can go into any furniture store and they have a whole section dedicated to comfort, right? Now, they might have all those other modern stuff that look good, but may not be that comfortable to sit on. But then you go over there, you got all this huge 3-seater chairs, whatever the case, all these things that make you say, this will put me right to sleep. But if we haven't, now, not to compare love and war, right? But if we haven't learned anything, let's think about the many, many, many years ago when the Japanese bombed us.
Okay.
We were the U.S. was in an absolute state of comfort. We had it going on. We got the great army. Nobody's gonna bother us, right? We got this and this, and we're contained. But when, like you said, when you're having an engagement with, as they call them, with I forget what they call those. I guess it is an engagement when you're in war. Yeah, when you're in a war, when that engagement, you can never sleep on the parameters around it. While you're sleeping, someone is devising a plan, right? And so they had an absolute brilliant plan to catch us. That's why we hear the term today, don't get caught sleeping.
Right.
Because we were caught sleeping. We were sleeping literally, and we got caught. And so this is what happens in relationship and marriage. We assume, like many of us think, like I don't know about all the other men, but this is how I believe a lot of men feel. You go out here and you find the person and you make sure you check off all the boxes to become the man you think she needs you to be. Oh, I'm going to be a provider. She said she wanted this kind of house. Make sure she's driving this kind of car. I'm coming home at night. She's making a meal. She's doing whatever. We happy. Now let me go ahead on and just say, and relax. Right. And that's not even it. But we think it's it. We think that prototype and that structure is the end. And it's not the end at all. Many people want that. But then you find out you can have all of these things. Your family could deem you as the love goals and all these things. But then when somebody leaves your house, did you see such and such face? He don't look happy. She don't look happy. And you're like, we just went over there for Thanksgiving. But people are saying this because you got all these comfortable things, but you're losing each other.
Yeah.
So you basically created these cushions and buffers to live around, and it's like the person is right down the hall, but it's so much space between you, you're not connecting. And so when you're not connecting, you're losing the ability, like that. When we talk about containment, when I'm talking about, like, basically we're talking about containing your love, it's basically you doing all that you can to keep it confined between the two of you. Because once you let that wall break, then when the levee breaks, then everybody's vulnerable to alternative love, right? When that wall of connection breaks, now who knows where this person's gonna go? Who knows who they're gonna let in? So the goal is, just like the ring you wear on your finger, the goal is to keep it within the ring, right? Let's keep it within the circle. That's whatever we need to do to keep it within the circle to make this thing last. Let's do what it takes.
Yeah. It's interesting. I'm sitting there thinking about you brought up the whole idea of, the military. And of course, I was in the Marine Corps for like 8 years. And so I kind of understand that whole analogy about the rules of engagement. And one of the things that's interesting when it comes to preparing to do that type of warfare, particularly when you're in basic training and then you go out and you go into the field and you do maneuvers, particularly when it's at nighttime. We had this thing called Firewatch, and Firewatch was basically, you would have one person that would stay up, and out of each squad, you'd have a person that would volunteer to take an hour of that night to walk the perimeter of the of our campsite to make sure that the enemy could not get in or attack us and ambush us. And so it meant that we had to remain alert. Yeah. It meant that we couldn't be sleepy, but we had to pay attention to our surroundings to make sure that the enemy, wherever they might be, could not ambush us. That's right. Simplify. Do or die. That's right. That's right. And like I said, each of us would have an hour to do that. But the whole idea was that you had somebody that was actively watching the camp to make sure that the camp was kept safe. So the question is this: in your camp of your relationship, who's watching? Or are both of you asleep? Because if both of you are asleep, you don't stand a chance of the enemy sneaking into your camp and ambushing. At least one of you have to be awake. At least one of you have to be watching the health of your relationship to make sure that it's still growing, to make sure that it's still alive. Now, here's the other thing that I kind of want to, I want to throw this in the mix as we're talking about this. And you mentioned the fact about being comfortable in a relationship. Well, let me propose this. I want to propose that comfortability is okay in a relationship.
Yeah.
The problem comes in at is when we become complacent in a relationship.
Yeah.
We want to be comfortable with one another to the point where we can be who we are. We can lay down our guard. We can take off our mask. We can show us who we really are. We don't have to act in pretense or any way. We can be who we actually are, transparently, honestly, authentically, genuinely be who we actually are. That's being comfortable in a relationship. Complacency comes in where we are just expecting things to happen and we're not participating in things to happen.
Yeah.
We're not actually doing things. We're just you're just almost as if you feel entitled to certain things to happen.
Taken for granted. Taken for granted. That's the word. Yeah, that's the word.
We're feeling complacent in the relationship. I don't have to do anything. It's going to happen. She ought to know how I feel. He ought to know how I feel. But there isn't any engagement in this. Okay. And that's the problem often with relationships is that we become so complacent, so comfortable, so complacent in a relationship where we just feel like, it's okay. It's, I'm not gonna put on no more makeup. I'm not gonna work on myself to be the best self that I can present to my husband or to my wife. I'm not gonna take care of myself so that I continue to be appealing to them and attract them. We are just being complacent in this. And the reality is that the thing that you did to initially get that person, the activities that you participated in to actually capture them are going to be the very same things that are going to be required of you to keep them. And this is where we fall short in. We no longer date our spouses. We don't take them out. We don't miss them away for a weekend just to be with them. You know what I'm saying? And when you're not engaging them anymore, when you've become inactive in your engagement with them, then you're going to start to grow apart. You're going to start to take each other for granted. You're going to operate from a complacent viewpoint because now it's not. I'm bored now.
Right. That's the worst you can do. Something when I was a kid back in DC, and they would, I don't know if you remember back when they would have those blizzards.
Yeah.
And we would shut down everything, right? But the thing that intrigued me was I would hear them on the news. They would say things like, but it would be essential and non-essential personnel.
Right.
And they would say essential are people who, irregardless of this, you're needed to show up.
Right.
And the non-essential, we just be at home. Let's go play snowballs outside, right? But if you look at it in a relationship perspective, you got to ask yourself, does my person view me as essential or non-essential? And I think the answer to that will let you know whether or not, because a lot of times we assume, like you just said, we assume and we take our presence for granted. We feel like, look, I done did the work and grabbed them, and so I'm good. I can kick back now. You understand what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, so much resentment can build up in the middle of that. And before you know it, you have gone from essential to non-essential.
Right.
So if nothing else, you got to have that one-on-one conversation and say, I know we've been through this, and I know we call ourselves still continuing this walk to work this out. But do you still see us as essential? Do you see us as something that matter? Or do you see us as something that you're at the edge and you good with almost walking away? You understand what I'm saying? You got to have that conversation because, it's when you get involved in that space, it's tough to move from. It's hard to put it like this. It's almost like you feel like you have a medal when you become an essential employee. Okay. But when you are reduced to non-essential, it's hard to go back to being proven to be essential again, right? So it's better if you're essential, you need to stay essential, because it's hard to go back from non-essential to back to essential again. Right. So you got to make sure you're staying engaged. Like you said, whatever you find to do that the both of you enjoy, it could be small or big, but whatever it is, you have to keep doing it. Because what I've learned is what you don't do with them or vice versa, eventually people find alternatives. Eventually, and it'll start with something. Oh, I took the kids, and then they go from the kids to, well, I dropped the kids off, and then I was with my friends. Then after with your friends, and now, well, it just kind of happened. How did it happen? I saw the whole attrition. But anyway, so the point is, you gotta stay on it. You gotta stay in it real tight, because it's like I said, there's always something out here trying to distract and come between your longevity of what you have, right? And so you gotta fight for it.
Yeah, but you know what, Charles? Let me just add this to the mix. And it's not often always that it's another person trying to get our attention or vying for our attention. I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about just life in general. Life has a way of doing life. Yeah. And life comes through with all of its different variations and permutations in terms of what it looks like for each of us as individual people. You know, you got family, you got job, you got church, and if you're in the ministry, you got ministry things. All of these various different things are vying and fighting for your attention. And it's not that they aren't worth your attention. They absolutely are worth your attention. You have to take care of these things in terms of what your realm of responsibility is. The problem comes in at where I have allowed all of these different things that consist of my life. I've allowed all these different things to move into my view to such a degree where I can't see you anymore. And I haven't engaged you as much as I should have. Why? Because I'm taking care of all these other things. I'm taking care of aging parents. I'm taking care of the water bill, the light bill, the gas bill, and the mortgage. I'm taking care of the church and the ministry. I'm taking care of my friends and us hanging out and having time together. I'm taking care of my gym time and me going to work out and do what I need to do. All of these things are important in their place, but nothing can be more important in our relationship than the person that we are in relationship with. They are essential to us. We have built this life together, and we've made our lives as such to be able to operate with one another. But when I no longer see you as something that is essential, and I go out on my own and I'm doing my own thing, then now I no longer see you as being significant in my life. Now you're just another thing to check off my list.
Yeah.
I don't put me on the list. I'm not a part of your list. I'm more than that. And you got to see your partner. You got to see your partner as more than just something to check off. Yeah. I'm engaging you, but again, you're on that autopilot. You're not actively engaging the people like you should be. You know
that's a good point when you say somebody to check off, because I think now if I had to tap into that thought, I think people sometimes see things as things to check off because they're handed tasks to do. And so the thing is, if it should be an exchange between each other that, like I said before on the other show, that we're just reciprocating in the way that we loving on one another. I'm loving on her, she loving on me. And the things that need to be done don't feel like a task because they're coming natural. Yeah. But if you're just saying, you know what, I told you need to take me out 3 times, and I told you this, and then I told you need to go there, we're going to take a trip, do this. If you're handing out all these tasks, I know men are going to be like, all right, let me get into my logic brain and let me answer these tasks. There, you did it. You happy now? You're missing the point Then it's like, so it can get like that. But that's why we have to work to have the relationship again to be reciprocal. And it's not necessarily a hurling request back and forth to each other, but it's like being in sync to the point that it just works, right? It's not something that you got to do all this extra stuff with. Another thing I would bring up is I used to always think about this. Mm-hmm. When it comes to relationships, and I'm married, you're married, but marriage, you have to look at, like, there's one thing to hear someone say, I need someone who's considerate of me, right? Who considers my feelings and considers how I feel. I like to say, you absolutely need a person who is not just considerate of you. You need a person who deems you worth reconsideration. Because I can consider you before I step out on you, but it doesn't stop me. I still step out. But if I reconsider you, you're the person that I say, man, this argument this morning just took me over the edge. I need a relief, and I can sure go out here right now and do this. But you know what? We got a whole family, man. She supports me. I love her. I know I'm mad at her, but I don't want to do life without her. So you're reconsidering it. And when you reconsider it, it makes you say, you know what? That's my flesh. I don't have to go over there and do that. I can just maintain and stick through this. But the problem today is people are considering you, but they're not stopping. They're considering that you're their husband, that you're their wife, but they're not stopping what they do. They're just like, whatever. I know I'm married. Are you bothered by it? If I'm not, don't bring it up. And they going on and doing it. But when you stop and say, oh, yeah, listen, no, seriously, stop. Because listen, I took a vow. I can't even do this. I know, I'm sorry for wasting your time. I can't. And you gotta have a person that's worth reconsideration. If you don't have a person that's worth reconsideration, you need to sit down and work through offenses. Because we get to a place of not considering somebody worth reconsideration when we have reached the limit. We've got frustrated, we mad, we don't think they listen or they care or they don't have enough empathy. So they're not going, it's almost like, well, how would they even know that I even did it? They don't even care. So I'm going to do it. And if you get to that place, you need to either talk back to your person and let's figure out why I'm at this place where I'm considering you only, but not deeming you worth reconsideration. And if we get to that place, then that's when we need to say, let's fix this because we're not in a good spot.
Yeah. Because it kind of that reflects on how you think about that person.
Yeah.
When you talk about the consideration and the reconsideration in terms of what place do they occupy in your life, and I think often we kind of presume that we're in a certain space. And we occupy a certain place in their mind. But you can often tell where you fit in their life by how they treat you, their behavior towards you, and they start treating you a certain way, you'll be going like, wait a minute.
I'm a little different. Yes, I'm a little different here.
This is a little different right here. What's happening here? You know what I'm saying? So this is why I say you can't just do it on autopilot, and you can't just be complacent in the whole activity of it. You actually have to engage this person. And I think sometimes, here's the thing, I don't want to hop on the whole engagement process and the wedding thing, but I think for whatever reasons, after we get married, for some of us,
we get content.
We sit back and we fold our arms and we kick our feet up, not realizing that this is not the end of the journey.
Yeah.
This is yet the beginning of a whole new life. But we don't see it like that. We see it as, oh, I've done it. I've accomplished it. I'm married now. We's married now. Yeah. And now I'm done.
Because, we're taught in our societal norms that the job is getting there. and getting him to ask you, getting her to say yeah. Once you get there, once we have the shindig, the celebration, the reception, now we got our badge.
Right.
We have our badge of accomplishment, so we can go on into the sunset as Mr. and Mrs. But that, like you said, that's not it. That's not the end of it.
And we put so much energy and resources and effort. And I'm realizing, and I might be slow, I might be late to the game here. But as much energy that we put in the whole wedding, now I'm seeing this whole trend of these whole performances that happen as we propose to the person. We propose to the person that we want to be with. And all this it's almost like a production that is thrown into it. This whole investment into this public demonstration of love. I believe in it. I'm good with that. And then you got the one day with your wedding and all of the pomp and circumstance that go with that. Okay, fine. You want to be the king and the queen of the day? Absolutely. Have at it. But when it comes to the actual marriage, the actual relationship, we make little to no investment in the skills required to maintain, and not only maintain, but to grow and develop its viability so that we have some longevity in the life of our marriage and relationship.
Wow.
We spend all of this effort on this one day, thousands and tens of thousands of dollars on a wedding and a proposal. When we finally get to the marriage, it's like we didn't think about, oh, I got to live with this person. Oh, I got to be with this person. Watch this. I got to live and be with this person for the rest of my life.
Wow.
We don't think about that. It's literally an afterthought. It's literally not in our minds as to say, how am I going to continue this relationship that I have with this person in a way that keeps them interested? And it's not one-sided. I'm not just doing it to keep her interested, but she's doing it to keep me interested as well. We're both working from both ends of it to keep each other interested. But I don't find that's happening today. That we spend a lot of time and a lot of effort on these other things that I'm not going to say that they aren't valuable. They have worth. They do. But I really do believe that the marriage relationship is far more worth than the wedding and the proposal. You put on this public show, fine, good. What about what happens behind closed doors between the two of us? Are we still engaged to each other? Are we still actively talking to each other? Or was that just for a show? Was that a one-off?
Unfortunately, we have tied value to the event. That's where the value of who we are is the fact that we are marriage material. And if we can make the marriage happen, we won. And like you said, that's why the culture doesn't teach us to be marriage lifers and make the marriage work. It teaches us be lit enough to get someone to marry you. And when you get someone to marry you, the rest of the stuff ain't our business. What happens behind your closed doors? But you did get them to marry you, though, or you did get her to say yeah, and that's it. And so we get stuck there. But here's what I find interesting. Think about, let's just say we can go out to our favorite restaurant, we can go to the grocery store, and we can bring in our favorite items into the house. Each of those items have different retentions placed on them.
Right.
If we go out to eat, you know you can't go to the seafood place and bring your crab legs home and leave them out all night.
Right.
You're going to put them in the refrigerator. You're going to do whatever you need to do. Whatever. If we're going to put things in the freezer, we know all the temperatures and where it belongs and where it doesn't. But when it comes to relationships, we let it spoil every time. We let the person sit out with their coworker that you know like them. We just let them sit there. We She keeps telling you to go to church with her. You let her go to church where you know the ministers like her, and you not there. We let her go when she's telling you, baby, let's go work out and walk. I don't got time for that. You go ahead and get a trainer. We let her go to the trainer where we know he can be like, he's not doing that at home for you. I can help you stretch right there. All of that. We let all of this happen. And we know that we are not being logical in how we do it. But at the same time, we just, like you said, we forget about the perishables and the non-perishables. What needs to be kept, what needs to be at a certain temperature, we ignore it. And we just go ahead and we treat food better than we treat the person we're supposed to love.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's real talk, man. That's real talk.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny too, and it's interesting because in this social media age that we live in, I think we really do, and we really do. I want to say this the right way. We look at things like Instagram, and we see people taking pictures, Snapchat. We see people taking pictures of where they are, what they're eating, in terms of what their life consists of, their relationship stuff. Me and my boo out here doing this, and me and my boo out here doing that. You see that one particular picture of them, and it's a picture of tranquility and harmony, and we're both getting along, and we're both on the same page, and we're making this thing as best as it possibly can be, because we are living the life, quote unquote, hashtag relationship goals. Okay. But what if we were to actually see and catch a glimpse of your actual relationship on a day-to-day basis?
Wow.
Would it look as pretty, as glamorous? Would you need to apply a filter to that picture?
Wow.
Make it look like it's all good in the hood.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Again, my point is this. We are investing in the wrong things.
Wow.
Again, I'm not against having a fantabulous wedding. I'm not against having a performative proposal. But what I am against is us not investing in the things that actually yield an absolute dividend. We don't invest in communication. We don't invest in emotional intelligence. We don't invest in being sensitive to our partner. We don't invest in spending time with them. We don't invest in the things that will actually promote health and wholeness in our relationships. Because it's not something that's trending. It's not something that's popular. You know what I'm saying? It's all about the gram and having that perfect picture look. That picture's not going to help you in divorce court.
Wow.
That picture's not going to help you when you're separated and you living in different places. That picture's going to help you when you guys are arguing and your kids are there watching you literally tear each other apart. That doesn't help you at all. When are you going to make the investment in your relationship that actually brings healthiness and wholeness to it? This is the engagement that's necessary in order for you to have a viable relationship. But we don't spend time doing that.
Wow.
We'd rather take a picture of this one moment in time rather than spending moments together to make this last forever. Just saying.
Man. Here's another thing. Another thing that we can't leave out is you absolutely have to have respect between you and your partner. Yeah. Believe it or not, respect is one of the few things that causes our partners to bridle their actions toward us. Like when somebody respects you, there's certain boundaries they don't cross, certain things they won't say to demean you, to none of those kind of things like that. They're just like, listen, I have respect for this person, so I'm not going to do this. And so I would challenge anyone to say, listen, yes, things happen between us that can cause us to get angry and be upset and feel away and our feelings. but to your best of your ability, you always have to fight to keep the best view of your person in front of you.
Yes.
Because that's the view you can respect. When it gets to the point where you're feeling like, oh, you know what, I can't even respect that no more. When you're saying that, the actions are soon to follow, whatever those actions are, and we have to fight to keep that respect front and center. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think.
Go ahead. Oh no. Then the last thing I was going to say is, and then between the both of you all, another thing that can happen that can keep you from keeping the both of you is when people, like, we're human, so we get lost in the love.
Yeah.
So both of you all have to be able to unselfishly pass the compass to back and forth to one another. One day you found, I'm lost. One day you lost, I'm found. But somebody has to guard the gate and make sure we still on track and that we still are committed to this thing. Another thing that we don't do in relationships, at the top of relationships or marriages, we don't establish those non-negotiables. And I'm not talking about how we're treated. I'm talking about how we see the relationship. We don't say, like, so listen, baby, we committed to this thing, and one thing we're not going to do is abandon each other. One thing we're not going to do is go to bed angry. One thing we're not going to, you have to speak those things to each other. So those can be your bylaws, if you will, that both of you all go back to when you in them troubled waters. But baby, both of us said we ain't quit. We're not walking out on this marriage. It don't matter what. We're going to fight this to the end. Okay, we did say it. It's something. But you got to have those non-negotiables that you both agree on. Not just one person say it. Y'all agree on it together. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you just brought a smile on my face. I was thinking about something. You got to be able to. No. I was thinking about. Me and my wife in terms of some of the interactions that we have had. Conversations, discussions, heated moments, passionate moments. But here's the thing though. So and you're right. You're absolutely right. We need to always respect each other. And I've said in a previous show that whenever we have had disagreements with one another, we've never called each other out of name. We've never ever. We don't ever cuss at each other. That's not even something that's on the board. We don't do that. We always
in each other's face. In each other's face, that is. But anyway, go ahead.
we respect each other in that way. You have to give me a charm. I'm not going to let you do it today.
So you go outside, Charles. Do you believe it? You're like, oh my man, oh God.
Respect is necessary, and it has to come from both ends. It absolutely has to come from both ends. Listen. I want to ask this question, and I want us to be honest about in terms of how we see our partners in our relationships, and it's something that I have asked myself over and over again to make sure that I'm where I'm supposed to be. And one of those questions has to do with are you receiving enough affection? Are you giving enough affection to the one that you give? Again, this is a way to continually maintain the engagement with one another. Affection is key. Affection is key. And affection is not just physical touch, but affection is emotional touch. I'm allowing you to connect to me emotionally. And let
compliments.
Affirmation. You got to do that. It's important. Do I have fun with you? I think that is so important that I am able to enjoy you and have fun with you. If you can't have fun with the person that you're with and you're married to them, oh my God, we are men most miserable. Listen, y'all, if we're going to grow old together and we can't have fun with one another, man, that's going to be some sour. Oh my God. No. We're going to pray for you. We're going to intercede and we're going to pray for you. You to have fun in your relationship. You ought to have fun with one another. Every day can't be a Harlequin romance. Every day can't be a telenovela. You ought to be able to have fun with each other and just joke and enjoy each other. That's my next thing. Do you enjoy being with this person? Let me put an even finer point on this. Do you like them? I know we often talk about love and relationships, and we ought to love them and be committed to them. Fine, that's good. Well, awesome. But do you actually like them? Are they somebody who you like as a person? Do you see them as likable in your relationship? Because again, this makes a difference in the longevity of your relationship. Wow. If you love them, that's one thing. Hey, that's cool. That's awesome. But love and like are two different things. Sometimes we don't consider the likability of a person than we do the love of the person. Yes, I love this person, but do I like them? Can I be in the room with them and let's not say anything to each other and still like them?
Wow. And here's why, this, what you're treading on now is why, like so many of us have committed this crime, but this is why we need to be careful with who you intermingle with intimately.
True.
Because the worst thing, Adam, you can have is when your body is calling for someone you don't even like.
Oh.
Your body wants them, but you don't like them. You don't like the things they like. You don't like the way they get mad. You don't like their tantrums. You don't like how they treat you, but your body tolerates them, but you don't like them. You just like, you know what? Are you coming over here? Just come spend the night. And they want you to come and connect. But and after that connection is over, it's just like they don't like you because there is so much discord between you, or just sometimes intimacy has a way, or sex, if you will, has a way of removing the mask. It's going to either add the glasses or it's going to remove the glasses. It's going to let you know exactly what you got, or it's going to put you in la la land. And when it lets you know what you got, you sit back and say, if I sum this all up, and if I remove sex, I don't think we like each other too much. Do I want to go to the zoo with you? Do I want to travel? Do I want to go to the flea market, thrift stores? Do I want to take a walk, a bike ride? Do I want to travel with you? And probably the answer is no.
Yeah.
But I enjoy the connection, but I don't like you. That's the problem with a lot of us. We like the connection, but we don't like the person.
Right.
So you got to be with. That's why we got to think logically and not allow your body to choose for you. Because when our bodies choose, it chooses what looks good to us and not to our life. You know what I mean? Yeah,
and that's why whenever you're considering a relationship with somebody, it can't just be solely based on physical attraction or sexuality or sensuality. It can't be just, ooh, she look good. Ooh, he look good. Ooh, look at those hips, lips, and fingertips. Ooh, look at those rippling muscles and those abs. It's got to be so much more. And we get stuck. It's literally a hard stop at the physical presentation of this person. Wow. We see them, we catch their eye, they catch our eye. You know, your body starts tingling or whatever like that. And you're seeing, ooh, they look good. You know what I'm saying? And then you end up having sex with them, which you shouldn't have done in the first place because you're already that's the first place that you messed up at. You gave them something that they did not earn or deserve.
Yeah.
No. And so my point is this: even after the sex, do you like them? Are they somebody who you could see yourself spending the rest of your life with? Because again, you got to understand, this is not a one-night stand.
Wow.
This is hopefully the rest of your life. And you got to be able to be with them for the rest of your life. So can you handle that? Can you handle it? Charles? Do they like you?
Yeah, that's it. Listen, if we only took the time to grasp the language of sex, and how sex tells you how a person is with you intimately. It tells you how they feel about you. How they, whether it is disrespectful, whether it is it's temporary, whether it is non-compassionate, whether it is empathy, you can learn it all through sex if you pay attention to it. The problem is we so busy worried about an expected end that we lose it all. But if you watch what's happening in the journey of it, you'll see what you're working with. And so, you know, I say, man, you got to say it all sums it all to this. Like if someone comes in and say, listen, Charles Adam, how do I keep my person as the apple of my eye? And you keep them there by keeping it fresh.
Yeah.
Like you would do fruit. You keep fruit fresh. Right. So to keep someone the apple of your eye, you got to think of all the things that it would entail to keep what we have fresh.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? One of the biggest enemies of marriage and of people cohabitating as marriage in the same house is ice. Now, I'm not saying ice trumps ice. I'm not talking about that kind of ice. But what I'm talking about is ice represent a spirit of coldness, right? So let's think about it like this. In your house, you have the two of you. So in the house, like if we think about the kids, the boy Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts, one of the biggest things that they've always been known for is we know how to make a campfire, right? So if you allow ice in your house, you allow division between the two of you. And when division comes, there is no more smacking on the booty, kissing when you get home. It's coming in the house. It may start off your food in the microwave. Then the person go their way, you go their way. Next, it's going to come. You're not talking on the phone. You're not texting. You're just paying bills and living in the house. Then next thing you know, you're in different bedrooms. And it's a pretty much heading toward a wrap at that point. But I'm going to where when I say ice, managing the ice from coming into your house, because think about it, pretty much where the wood, and follow me, the grown people, where the wood resides is where the fire lives. Okay. Hear me again. Where the wood resides is where the fire lives. So men, so you look, in order to make the fire, you got to rub the sticks together. So the point is, if there is you can't have the person leave. If they leave, there's no wood left in the house. Listen, ladies, if the man leaves the house, the wood is gone from the house. So my point is, the wood is what keeps the fire. I'm not even trying to be funny. I'm just keeping it real. The wood is what we forget that part. And this is tapping back into making sure you like your person. Because when you like them, you like loving on them. When you don't like when you don't like them, loving on them looks like a chore.
Yeah.
I said I'll do it on Saturday. I'll give you some. And it shouldn't be that way. The relationship should be to the point where it should be so sporadic and spontaneous that it's just like that with y'all, right? You see each other and it can be this or it can be that, but that's how we feel about each other. But when we allow ice to come in, ice is resentment. Ice is unforgiveness. Ice is disrespect. Ice is negligence. Ice is taking for granted. When all of those things come into our relationships and marriages, ice sets in. And the kind of ice that sets in is the kind of ice that you see at the North Pole it's still out there. You can see an iceberg. It don't matter if the sun come out or not, it's not melting, right? So in order to keep that ice from forming in your relationship or in your house, you gotta keep the wood churning. And I know it's like, you know, it's we making it a joke out of it, but the love churning wheel is what keeps the heat in the house.
Yeah.
And if you get to the point where you're abandoning the love, you can forget about it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, that's good, man. That's really good. I mean, yeah, I definitely concur and agree with that because we need to keep our houses from getting cold. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? We need to make sure that we have. Oh, but I can't believe I'm about to say this. We need to make sure that we have enough wood in the
Yes, gotta have the wood in the house.
keep it warm in
Yeah,
order to keep
that's it.
cold from getting in.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, though, Charles, that was really good about that whole analogy when you talked about the heat, and that is the fact that passion is indicative of heat.
For sure.
You got that heat that's coming in, and it's warming everything up. It's raising the temperature of the room. It's no longer as cold or as chilly. You got the heat going. How do we get
warm?
Because I continue to talk to you and engage you. Here's the thing, though, Charles. The reality is that we're not going to always agree on everything. There are going to be some things going to make us frustrated, going to try to cause us to walk separate ways from one another. But at some point in time, we got to be able to come back together. I need to be able to see you as so valuable in my life that I can't let you go, and that I want to keep this going. I don't want to be without you. And I think sometimes we have this idea in our head nowadays. We have so many different contingency plans just in case this don't work. Just in case this falls apart, just in case this doesn't go the way that I wanted to go, just in case you piss me off, just in case somebody else shows up, just in case.
Yes, that's it.
You know what I'm saying? When is it going to be that we throw all in with the person that we're with and say, you know what? Let's do it. Let's make it happen. You know what I'm saying? Let's ride this thing all the way out. I'm committed to you. You committed to me. I like you. You like me. How is it that we did not figure this out on the first date? How is it that we allowed our bodies and our sensuality to dictate to us, oh, I just want you for what you present to me? And we didn't dig any further to see whether we were likable or not.
Wow.
How did we miss that red flag? I don't understand. But anyway, my point is this, is that we need to keep the passion going. And again, I want to continue to encourage everybody that's listening and everybody who will listen, don't get lazy with this. Don't get complacent with this. Remain engaged. You got engaged, that great proposal that you posted on YouTube and Instagram and Snapchat that the whole world could see, that engagement, okay? But you didn't remain engaged. You disengaged from that person. I need you to re-engage with them. I need you to go back and talk to them. Rediscover the reason why you got engaged to them in the first place.
That's it.
Here's the thing, though. When's the last time you've been out? When's the last time you went out to do something? When's the last time you hooked up? You know what was so funny that was so cool? And I know it's a small thing, and you might not necessarily consider it, but it was just something that was cool. My wife came down to my office like this past Sunday, and I'm just sitting there chilling or whatever like that. And I'm sitting there watching TV or whatever. She came downstairs and she sat with me, and we just watched TV together. Now we do that all the time, but you know, it's just nice when your partner comes to where you are, and you chill, and you just watching TV, you're laughing, you're joking, you're sitting there. When's the last time you engaged your partner like that? Wherever they are, you went to them. And you just, whatever they were watching, you watched it with them. Or maybe you took a movie or whatever like that. When's the last time you actually got up from your chair, went to the room that they were in just to see what they were doing?
That goes a long way. It's a small act, but it goes a long way.
It absolutely does, because it's showing that you still interested in them. And I'm telling you, and I'm not trying to put all my business out there, I'm still very much interested in them. I'm still very much attracted to her. She's got all that I want and need in my life. Ain't no shame in my game. You ain't gonna say nothing right now. I'm talking. No, I ain't gonna let you do it. I ain't gonna let you do it. She's got all that I want, all that I need. Okay. Right. 24/7. Twice on Sunday. Hello.
So listen, man, like you just to back up on what you just said, you always like you have to stay to each other. I don't care how mad we get, we can't stop talking.
That's right.
I've learned that when you allow your feelings to afford you to get comfortable not talking, it's hard to get back talking. So you got to fight the fight of not talking. You got to fight for that. Yeah. Then you got to continue. We said earlier, but you got to continue the compliments. Right. We live in a world where people can be complimented every day, whether online or in person. So if nothing else, they need to know that you're complimenting them first, right? Yeah. That's compliments. And then here's the biggest part of it. Whatever it takes to keep the vision of hope in your relationship or your marriage, you have to keep it in the forefront. Because I've noticed people leave relationships and marriages when they no longer see hope in it. And when they no longer believe in it, they leave. Because to them, what am I fighting for? Is there a reason in front of me? Yeah. Why am I hoping? Right. Do I believe in this? Is it really going to come to fruition? Is it really going to grow? Is he or she going to stop doing what they know I don't like? So when you lose that, people are more willing to gamble on their exit. They stay when they see hope. When there's something to believe in, people will fight. But when they don't see hope, they're willing to gamble. So you have to say to yourself, what can I do to keep the fire and ice in front of my person so that we can keep seeing this same vision together and see it as a reason to fight together. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And again, I want to go back to something I said earlier, and I want to kind of reiterate it again, is that's the fact that how important are they to you? Are they important to you? Are they significant to you? I think because of the fact that you've been with a particular person for a number of years and you've gotten to know each other, you've become familiar with one another. Yeah, you're married and you're in the same household and you're raising your kids and you're doing this and you're doing life. Mm-hmm. But are they really important for you? Are they significant to you? I think because of the fact that we've been with each other for as long as we've been with each other, like you said, Charles, we have a tendency to take one another for granted. We have a tendency to take advantage of one another. And we don't see each other as important as we used to. We don't see each other as a priority as we used to, because when we were dating, you would literally move heaven and earth in order to be with them. When we were just courting with one another, we would spend all amounts of money to take this person here and take this person there, to show them and express to them how we felt about them and cared for them. But now that we've gotten on this side of the relationship, now they're not as important to us as they used to be. We don't do what we used to do to keep them engaged with us. We're not vying for their interest in us. We're not trying to appeal to them as much as we used to, because they're not important to us. We got all these other things that are important to us in life. And like I said, life is going to do life, but you got to keep the important things in front of you. I'm not a task. Yeah. And you should not allow anybody to reduce you to a task or a person.
Bruce made a good point, and that is many of us are guilty of this. Mm-hmm. We find what we feel is important, and your other person is often left by the wayside. And that's the worst thing you can do, is let a person just think that it's all about you. Right. So we have to find things that are mutually important to us both, and hinge on to them. Because if it's a situation where everything is, well, I don't like that, well, I don't want to go, well, I don't eat that. I mean, is it anything about me, or is it all about what you want? Nothing will work. I don't care how fine, how handsome, whatever any person is. Nothing will work long term one-sided. Yeah. Nothing will work long term one-sided. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's not the way relationships ought to work.
Yeah.
Relationships are by their very nature, they are synergistic. And what I mean by the word synergistic, they are collaborative. They are cooperative. There's an exchange between us. There's a dynamic that is occurring between us. And so it's not just what I want, but what does she want. And here's the thing though, Charles. Sometimes what she wants, I could care less about. But because I love her the way that I do, you know what I'm saying? I do
sacrifice
for her because it's important to her. You know what I'm saying? And I think sometimes, here's the thing I was going to say earlier, I'm going to say it now, and then we're going to, sometimes I think we consider the person that's in our lives, the person that we chose, as an inconvenience to us. Because they want something that we don't want. And so now you become inconvenient for me.
That's a problem now.
But before, my inconvenience to you did not seem like an inconvenience because you literally said, okay, hey, whatever, I'm going to do what I need to do for you. But now, it's an inconvenience. Oh, okay. That's what we're doing?
You know what that means? That means grace is fleeting.
Yeah.
The grace they had for you is fleeting. When those things that you say, wait, you're getting brand new, because I thought this didn't matter then, but it matters now because I'm tired. So you gotta learn to watch them flags and them signs when they pop up.
Yeah. And sometimes you just need to listen. Like we've already said before, and then we're gonna say it again. It's not, if you're in a relationship, it's not all about you. Now, if you are by yourself on your own as a single person, then yes, it's all about you.
Yeah.
Even though it's really not all about you. But yes, it's all about you.
And look, it can't be all about you when you're trying to get to know somebody either.
Come on.
Yeah.
There has to be, we got to be fair about this. We got to be even about this, okay?
Yeah.
I'm helping you. You helping me. We're doing this with one another. We're making this life happen. Hey, let's make it happen, man. Let's remain engaged. That's how we keep the relationship alive. That's how we retain the love. Remaining engaged with one another. That's what we do.
Wow. Well, that's good stuff, man. Wow. Well, we appreciate you guys hanging in there with us today as we talked about the retention of love. I know how to attract them, but how do I keep them? Now, I have a theory of how to keep them. I'll tell you after the fact. But anyway, we appreciate y'all tuning in, and we will tune in. We're here every Thursday at 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So we look forward to you guys. We'll see you guys next week. And in the meantime, listen, if you guys have questions or things you want us to bring up or specific topics, feel free to reach out to either of us with those selections. We're not blocking you from just, we want y'all to be involved. We appreciate you all getting in with our topics, but we still want y'all to be involved, and we care about what y'all think. So, yeah. All right. Let's see here. Well, until then, peace.
Somebody over there playing games. You know the thing ain't on.
I ain't cutting it off. I'm trying to put it.
Oh, now you're muted. Now we can't hear you. You're muted. Are you playing games? What is going on today?
No, I promise you. I'm trying to turn the thing on. Hold on, because it's being slow for some reason. It's not me. It ain't me. It's not.
Somebody over there playing games.
I don't know why the thing is being slow. It did at the beginning of the show too. It ain't my connection. I don't know what it is, but I'll figure it out. But anyway, you know how you keep people, Adam. Let's just break this all the way down. Let's make it really simple. If you looked good to get them, look good to keep them.
Okay, you're not wrong.
If you threw it on them when you met them, throw it on them to keep them. Don't make the person feel replaceable. Don't let them think you're taking them for granted, right? Be like, I don't know how to describe this, but not everybody has this gift. But there are people that can be in a room full of millions of people, but they know how to make it still feel like it's just you and them. When you got a person who got a neck like this and they see everybody and, oh my God, they cute, they handsome, you're going to have a hard time.
Right.
You need a person who can sell the dream of unity to you. And if they can sell to you that it's just you and them, that's all that matters, because you can believe in that. But if they give you something to believe in, now, again, I said don't disrespect them. We all know what disrespect is. We all say stuff like, I didn't know. Yes, you do. We all know what disrespect is. Don't disrespect people.
Right.
Compliment them. Even the best time to compliment a person is when they are thinking to themselves, I might be a little rough. Even if they're looking rough, find the diamond and compliment it. There's always something to compliment, but compliment the person. When it comes to intimacy, the conversations around intimacy, keep them between you and them. Don't take it to third person. Y'all men love that. We don't want to hear history. We just want to hear the moment. Nobody want to, y'all just, because see, this one guy, no. Keep it right here. It's like, I'm going to keep it here, you keep it here. We don't need to go outside the room to enjoy each other. Then, when it comes to arguing, again, have disagreements, but not fights.
Okay, that's good.
Fights are different. Have disagreements, not fights. Try your best to not get. I'm not saying that we don't get so mad that sometimes somebody may call somebody something out of their name. But for sure, don't make a practice, because when you make a practice of calling people out of their name, you get lost in who they are. Wow. Because you disrespected them so long, you don't know no better. Right. So don't make a practice of that. Then the bedroom should be a haven that both of you all run to, even when you're not in there. You just racing to get back there. And it's not so much about the physical intimacy, it's because you're there. Okay. And we can connect. However that connect looks, whether it's looking at Tubi, Prime, Netflix, whatever, we're eating food in there, it don't matter. Whatever we do to unwind and relax together, we take a walk, whatever, it's us. That's all that matters. But the race is to get to the room, because that's where the wood and the fire is. Ladies, stop kicking the men out the house. He got the wood. How else do the fireplace gets lit with the wood? Your fireplace doesn't light up unless the wood lights it up. Listen, find me a brick fireplace that a rose can light up. I'll wait. Anyway, you need the wood. There is no replacing the wood. You need the wood for the fire. So the point I'm saying, and then last but not least, what matters to them, make it matter to you. Okay. That's how people know you riding with them. What matters to them is an issue. If it's an issue for you, it's an issue for them. If it matters to you, it matters to them. And that is it. Period. Point blank. Now I can go find something to eat. All right. Now that's it. Now, you got something to say before? No, that's the end of that. So yeah, we shall see. We'll see how this goes, sir. But anyway, I appreciate y'all for tuning in today. Much love, and we'll see you guys next week.
Make sure you share and like us.
Like and share. Yes, like and share. Everybody needs to learn how to keep what they caught.
Peace.